Hello, and welcome to the Tuesday Night Music Show, brought to you by DJ Event Planner, www.djeventplanner.com. See more information in the description of this video, along with some other sponsors that we may have. Of course, we have Howie tonight. We have the abominable Eric from New Hampshire.
You love that word.
I do. I'm going to use it now. I know what it means. Very bad and unpleasant Eric from New Hampshire.
I thought Matt was abominable, not me, but that's all right.
What?
Well, yeah, he kind of is abominable, but he's from Georgia. He's here. He will show us something on his phone a little later on, because that's what he does here on the Tuesday Night Music Show. So stay tuned for him. Show us his phone. And of course, we have Jay. Jay's here.
What's going on?
Jay is here with us tonight. Thank you for being with us, Jay.
Absolutely.
In a white shirt.
In a white shirt.
The big
Not
day.
my standard black. I was at a mixer this evening, so I thought I would go with white and look a little more business
Right.
casual.
Nice.
Yeah.
Tucked or untucked?
Tucked.
Nice.
Black slacks. and
That's
shoes.
more business than casual.
Well, I didn't know what I was a member of this group that I meet with every Friday,
Mm-hmm.
and there's chapters of it around the town. So another chapter said, "Oh, all the chapters are going to get together," which means it could be 10 people or 1,000, or genuinely like 120 if everyone showed up. And I just thought, well, I'll go see some businesses, and I'll admit it. And this might shock some people out there. As comfortable and happy and successful as I am just randomly speaking about stuff I'm passionate about, I'm not the same way with networking. I'm not a fan of networking.
Why do you think that is?
Because this is going to get comments. I view it as a waste of time. I have to sell myself to people when I already know I'm good at what I do, but they don't. So I have to play the card of, hey, it's so nice to meet you. Yeah, I'm a very successful wedding DJ. I've been doing it for 20. And I'm not a fan of the sell. I'm a fan of the tell. And I've had this comment. I just got hired to go to New York City for a week and do some demos in September. And I won't say with who yet, but everyone in the room knows what I'm most closely associated with. And it's not that company. It's another company. Because I've done some demo work for another company that doesn't conflict with my main company. And they've now hired me after a great demo last week to go to New York for a week. They're paying me. That's what I do well. I tell.
Sure.
I've never been a good seller. I'm a good teller.
Right.
I tell you what I do. I tell you what I can do for you. I don't ever feel I'm selling you on my services. I'm telling you what I do, which makes me different from you and Howie and Matt and Eric and everyone else. So to network, to go out and have to go through the whole, well, let me give you my life story. It's like, what does that have to do with what I do? Like, who I am to me has nothing to do with what I do for you at a wedding.
You're a very good shower, though, too. I mean,
I like to show. I like to do seminars. I'm doing one in Atlantic City in August. And the preparation will be, what's the gear? This. Got it. Let me go. That's where I'm most comfortable. Big room, a lot of people, no script. Go. I'm good. In the moment. Because I'm being honest. I don't lie at those things. You've seen me, Brian. You've seen me, Howie. I don't tell lies. I don't stand there and go, this is a Craftmatic mixer. You can dice, slice, and play great dance songs. So networking has always been a struggle for me.
Is it
so
because
I made myself go?
Yeah, it is part, and I'm just curious because I think I understand what you're saying, but the follow up to that is, I mean, networking to me are a bunch of individuals who run different businesses getting together and trying to do business together.
Yes.
And I don't mean to put you on the spot here. I'm really sorry, but I have this honest question I need to ask you.
No, absolutely.
How are you about asking questions of others, of their services?
I'm good, but the problem, Brian, becomes I don't have a lot of questions to ask. I met someone tonight who does payroll.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. What? Right.
Oh, wow.
I met a lawyer. What kind of law do you practice? I do contract law. Oh, I use a contract. I guess I could hire you to look at my contracts. That's about as far as I can go.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you do? I'm a contractor. Oh, what kind of contract do you build? Houses? Do you do commercial? Is it real? Like, I can get into that gist of it, but the problem becomes, what do you do, Jay? I'm a DJ. Oh, no way. That sounds like fun. People don't think of our career as a real thing sometimes.
Right.
And I'm oftentimes finding myself trying to justify example.
Mm-hmm.
It's much more impressive to go into a meeting and say, I'm not going to be here next week because I have to be in Las Vegas to do what I love and do for a living in an area of a speedway with 500,000 people. Whoa. Because if I say, I just did a wedding for 75 people and the bride and groom were so happy and everyone was so thrilled, and I played the Cupid Shuffle and I played some Aerosmith and I think I played two George Michael. Like, because their perception of us isn't an actual thing. It's
what?
Goof. Like on Saturday Night Live, they don't goof on lawyers. They make lawyers be like in court goofing on the witness. But if they show a DJ in SNL, it's always, hey, everybody, how's it going? Get out here on the dance floor.
Yeah.
I'm just throwing it out there, right? Because I mean, I know that, and it's part of this thing that I kind of want to talk about tonight. Sometimes we're too close to things to really see them.
Yes, 100%.
You can't see the forest for the trees,
100%.
So it's really cool to be able to talk to friends and bounce ideas back and forth. And
I agree.
It's like I've been telling my brother for the last 7 weeks. I have a lot of ideas. They're not all good ones, but I got a lot of them.
No. But you got to go through them and determine.
You got to spitball. Yeah, you just got to throw stuff. I'm pitching. Here, just some ideas. I don't know.
I tried to get a DJ group in my area, and I put up a Facebook page. I called it Inland Empire DJs. I was very public about it. Like, anyone that DJs in this market, let's meet for happy hour. Let's get together. Let's get to know each other, with the understanding that we might be able to help each other. Or you might say, hey, are you guys playing this new Daft Punk song called this? No, dude, I'm not. Let me make a note. And I said to you had left, Brian, last night, a little bit later in the evening. And I had John here. Matt was here in face. I don't know if you were listening.
Oh my gosh, I fell asleep on you guys.
Yeah,
but I did a high school graduation last week, which I did last year, and this year I showed up knowing that I'm going to play Pomp and Circumstance for all of the graduates to walk into.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to control the microphones, and then I'm going to play about 15 to 20 minutes of Best Day of My Life, No Such Thing by John Mayer, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I know I'm only playing 15 or 20 minutes and I've got 30 songs in a crate. But I came in last week and I asked Eric, I think Howie was around. I asked John, I asked everyone that was around, hey, you guys got any other songs? Do you think Sia Unstoppable would work? Because I know how important the event is, just like you do and everyone else does. You don't show up to a gunfight you have to win with one bullet.
Right.
Yeah.
A DJ doesn't show up at a wedding and go, if I average 20 songs an hour for 5 hours, that's 100 songs. I just need 102. I need 100,000. Because
I will say this, Jay, though. I will say this, that when I introduce myself as a DJ, it's very vague. And I haven't done it in a long time, as a matter of fact, because whenever I did, the first thing people will say, what radio station?
Oh, back in the day, yeah.
First thing that they would say.
Or they do this. You mean like...
Well, now it's like, you mean like, yeah.
Oh,
but in the old days, it was what radio station?
Yeah, what radio? Exactly. In the 90s, it would have been, I'm a DJ. Oh, on what station? Have I heard you?
So yeah, I what I discovered was when I introduced myself and when I introduce my profession to people, I usually have to tailor it to them. So, for instance, if I'm meeting a young lady in her early 20s who's engaged, I'm a wedding DJ.
Right.
And I was just wondering, like at a corporate networking event, would it be wise to introduce yourself as a DJ who specializes in corporate entertainment and brand management?
That's what I've said. And one of the terms I picked up that I stole from somebody who gave it to me, as well as Insomniac, Live Nation, and EDC, excuse me, is I'm an experience creator. I'm a memory maker. I'm the one that guarantees that your investment of a special day isn't ruined by music that didn't make sense. And they kind of look at you like, my sister's wedding, the DJ played this song that totally ruined things. No, that's not what I do. I come in with experience, professionalism, and time, and determine by reading the room what will work best. So what you're really paying for, I'm reading the crowd, I'm reading the room. We know as DJs, me showing up with a crate with 45 songs for 20 minutes of music is excessive. But as DJs, we also understand that had the crowd looked more like Sia than John Mayer, I was ready.
I keep going back to the fact that you went to a networking event with a guy who does payroll. And I've got thoughts.
So
I'm still there.
Right, but the goal is that he's going to say to me, "Oh, no way, I just got engaged." "Oh, you're kidding. I specialize in weddings." And that's kind of where that conversation peaks. "Oh, no way, you just got engaged?" Because 100% of business owners, when you talk to them and they're married, you say, "Oh, did you have a DJ wedding?" "Yeah, he was okay." "Just okay?"
Right.
"Well, he didn't do this, this, and this." And I can't come in, even if they say he was great, it doesn't matter, because I can't impact that moment. Or
I'm thinking about the movie Ghostbusters.
Great, they already have a guy.
Remember Ghostbusters?
Vaguely.
When Rick Moranis was having his party and he only invited clients, so it was a tax write-off. Right before the monsters came in. I was just wondering if there was some kind of pitch for that. I mean, you specialize in tax deductible corporate entertainment, something stupid like that.
I said it's so funny you bring that up because I jokingly said that to a guy that represents Affleck.
Oh, nice. That would be perfect.
Yeah. And we were talking and I said, it's so funny. We really should talk. And he goes, "No,
why?
We may have a party." And I go, "Well, I'm thinking more like I work with a lot of older DJs and I don't really understand how Affleck works. I understand the commercials. Oh, yeah. If I pay money and I get hurt, you will give me money while I'm not working." Well, a lot of us, this is our sole income. And you could see his eyes kind of light up. And I'm like, last year there were 2.8 million weddings. You figure probably 90% of those had a DJ. Yeah. So if the DJs made $1,200 a wedding, you're in the $40-50 billion range.
Yeah.
And he just suddenly was like, wait, what?
Yeah.
We've been relegated to the, "Oh, you're a DJ? That's cute." My son DJ. Really? Where? At Harvard sometimes. I think I told you guys, I got hired for a wedding in November. And the guy's like, "What's your style?" I said, "Well, my style is to read the room and play appropriate music. I think that would best sum it up. But also, I'm not a fan of talking at events. I'm really a fan of mixing." And, "Well, what do you mean by mixing?" I said, "Well, I don't let songs end and start a song. I try to get you to be dancing to the next track without knowing it's a style of mixing, transitioning, blending." And then he comes forward with, "Well, I'm a 58-year-old from Chicago and I DJ'd in college with vinyl. And that's the scene I like." And I'm like, "Oh, does that mean I can drop like Frankie Knuckles at your wedding?" And he goes, "I'd love you to." I said, "Great. I've got a killer version of Donna Summer, I Need Love that..."
Or I feel it too.
I feel it, and I can, figure out a way to.
I need it. I feel it. I want it.
Yeah, something. And it's like, but
I
why
am,
would
though.
why would he try to suck me in to give the wrong answer? And I'm like, well, because now he's not a DJ, he's a buyer. And he wants to see, just like you and I might
Qualifying
do,
you, yeah.
he's qualifying me.
Or
And
he's
I was
just having
fine
fun
with
because
that.
he's as bored as you are, just screwing with you, one or the other.
Well, that could be too.
Yeah.
You know, his fiance is 40. He's 57.
well played. Yeah, well played.
Yeah, no, well played.
He's got to talk to her, though, when he's
But I think it's one of those things about being a DJ. You know, when you're a DJ in your 20s and 30s, it's a different statement. Like, because you're hanging around people in their 20s and 30s, and it's like everything's cool. Like, oh, no way. Dude, where do you play? Oh, I play over at, Safe House. Dude, we go there every Thursday. Oh, I've seen you. Dude, that's so awesome, man. But now with social media and as we get older, I'm talking to people that are like, and it happened Saturday night at the Big and Rich show. Guys like, are you still DJing? As if it was like that's what I did then, but now I'm a lawyer. Now I'm a doctor. And I almost felt like saying like, no, I don't do that anymore. I went to med school. I'm a doctor.
yeah.
Like, because we don't get the respect.
Well,
Even though we've all done 6-figure weddings. How many people are given the responsibility?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, we don't
Of-
get 6 figures.
Yeah,
That's
they
out
have
here-
spent 6 figures on something. Yeah,
Not every wedding by any stretch, but I've definitely done a few where they were very quick.
yes, where they have spent 6 figures. Yes,
They've spent 6 figures. But
Yeah.
when you think about it, I could ruin that day the fastest of anyone in the room. I've had weddings where the food was so messed up, they ended up having pizzas delivered, and it was still a great wedding.
right.
Mhm.
It doesn't. Yeah, that stuff is very superficial.
Right. But if
Either
I
way,
had
people
screwed it
know
up,
it's a good time.
it would have been ruined.
Mhm.
Yeah,
So we're an integral part of events. I had a gentleman that wanted to hire me, and his daughter ended up going with, it was a silent auction and DJ night for a fundraiser for a private school. And when I gave them a price tag, which was expensive because I needed sound for 800 people, 5 hours, and to help run the auction. And I said, great, I want like $2,300. Oh, well, this is a school. I said, you know how much sound you need? You know how important sound is, that people in the back can hear whether they should bid or not? I go, trust me, you need this package. They ended up getting a guy that's a parent of one of the students who used to DJ.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
He hasn't DJ'd probably in 15 years. And that's where his music collection stopped.
yeah.
And the gear he was using, apparently, when he did DJ, it was for parties of 100 or less. There's variables in the term DJ that you have to qualify sometimes. You have to let them know. Tonight, I brought up the Playboy.
Jay's all bridges. He's like the song "With Your Love" by Jefferson Starship. Everything's a bridge to something else. There's
Yeah,
never
tonight.
like verse, chorus, and resolve. It's like it's another bridge. It's another bridge. It's another
Right.
bridge.
But
Where's it going to end?
tonight-
It's just bridges.
One of the guys is like, oh, DJing, that's really cool, this and that. And then he started in with his career and his accolades. And I was like, he brought up something about San Diego. And I said, oh, I used to bartend at El Trio's. Oh, that used to be the Playboy Club. I'm like, yep. Well, there's my opening of the door. I let him go on about the Playboy Club. I go, that was the thing at the mansion that I found the most exciting, was the fact that wait, you've been there? I said, yeah, I DJ'd a Midsummer Night's Dream Party. I never get to mention that. And it was like a huge thing with him. Well, after that, every person that came over to us out of 10 people, he would mention he DJ'd at the Playboy Mansion. Because in his world, that meant
That was
something.
a big deal. Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Somebody else, it might be a big deal if I said, oh, EDC. Because trust me, I'm finding anyone over 35 doesn't know what EDC means. So,
But it's getting a lot of celebrity steam lately. So, it's definitely on the uptick.
it's 500,000 people going to see nothing but DJs. There's no band.
Yep.
And I think our influence in the industry, the Casey Kasem, Wolfgang Jack
Wolfman.
days. I call him Jack.
Man.
I knew him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wolfman Jack, I knew him that way.
Well, Ken Heath called him Uncle Bob. That's pretty neat.
Well, and is he here, by the way? I don't want to get hugged from behind.
Right, you might get a big hug.
Yeah, that's my fear.
Yeah, but it's
Sitting
one
on
thing
a
to sell
cooler.
yourself and sell your services to people that are like, "Hey, I need a DJ for this event," or "Tell me what you do." But this is like a gathering of people that y'all are.
But that's
like
it.
The main goal to be there is to network and to learn more about looking for those
what they do. But it's also to recommend their business.
Yeah,
and it's like, I kind of look around a room sometimes and just go, none of you know anyone getting married.
Right.
None of you are having a backyard party. Like, because people are very quick in the business world to say, oh, I'm doing this $20 million landscaping. So I said to the landscape guy, I'm like, man, $20 million landscaping. They go, oh, this mansion, this and that. I go, they should really have a party when they're all said and done. If they mention it, just say, a DJ. Oh, I never thought of that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because his job is just to do the landscaping in the pool and walk away. It's not to say to them, hey, by the way, you should have a big gathering. If you need a DJ, I know a guy. And I think what it comes down to is there's two business worlds. There's, I'll give you $100 if you recommend me. And you should just recommend me because you met me. And we've had this talk on the program before. I know in my area, I don't know today, but a few years ago, there was a new trend of, hey, I'd love to recommend you and put you on our preferred vendor list. It's a 5% per event thing. And it's very hush-hush.
Kickback, yeah.
Well, everyone hates it. Every vendor says they don't do it. And then you find out, like, how are you doing at 75 events at the most exclusive venue in town when you are by far not the best DJ option?
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing? Are you giving them Starbucks cards? Howie's program talking about how do you get in with venues last week. Sometimes you get in with hard, cold cash.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I go over there on Tuesdays and do the shrubbery.
Well, I mean, hearkening back to the beginning of your long dissertation, Jay.
I thought I had to fill space. I saw John Young in the corner going.
No, sometimes
when he goes like this, I stop.
For me, if it's a networking type thing, I don't go to like, oh, you're invited to a network thing. No, I don't do that either. But if it turns into a sort of a networking thing, the first thing out of my mouth is not, oh, I'm a DJ. What do you do? Well, I have my own business and I'm an entrepreneur. Oh, really? What's that entail? I'm like, well, I've been to Vegas and Boston, and I did the Olympics last year. And what do you mean? What do you mean? And I'm like, well, I'm in DJ business, entertainment world, and I was doing lighting.
That's fair.
Where, in other words, the DJ thing comes last. So you don't you impress them first with where you've been. And then, you give the qualifier that, hey, I'm not some high school kid that, just, plays and waits. The song's over, I'll put another one.
It's almost the open and closed-ended question thing.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Well, and we're in an industry that doesn't have a standard. I mean, everyone I'm speaking with tonight has a license. They have continuing educational units they have to qualify with. They've had to pass an exam.
Mm-hmm.
They have to have bonding. I mean, even when I mention insurance, they kind of look at you like, oh, yeah, you have insurance. And I'm like, why don't you go find a hotel or a venue, say you're doing an event, and then see how quickly the hotel or venue goes, well, all your vendors have to have insurance. And then you'll find out the difference between a professional vendor and a non. Because I'm sure you've all gotten the same phone call I have. Hey, I know it's last minute. Are you available this Saturday? No, why? What's going on? Well, the DJ we hired didn't have insurance and he can't get it.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? Then he's not working your venue.
Yeah.
I am going to rethink this down the road, Howie, because I like that approach of, I don't know, I like the memory maker. I like the experience creator. It's like, what do? I create experiences, or I create moments, or I ensure that large investments for social gatherings are protected. Really? Tell me more.
I don't understand. Yeah.
I DJ because they speak in that language. And I'm showing up like, hey, I DJ, and isn't it awesome? This wedding dance to the Cupid Shuffle. And everyone loved it when I dropped, Soulja Boy cranked that after Cupid Shuffle. Like, it was great. And they look at you like, huh?
Mm.
Yeah, but CJ, it goes back to something you said many times, about, where, you're basically selling yourself on the down low, with like, hey, I just got back from Las Vegas. Oh, really? What'd you do there? Oh, I DJ'd. Oh, whoa. Oh,
you can thank Brian for that.
You're not the kid from high school. You know what I mean?
That was Brian's whole thing. Now, 14 years later, hey, wouldn't it be great if people could DJ in a casino on the Strip and have that credential when they go back to East, whatever.
East Chipit.
And Slugs Hustle.
Yeah, that one. And sit down, and say, hey, you know what? I'm sorry I was late for the meeting. I just got a phone call from someone I met last week in Vegas when I was DJing. Wait, what? Wait, whoa. You were DJing in Vegas? I've told this story before, and it's the similar response. When I got my iPad in August of 2010, the first 10 meetings I had after I got it, where I took it out, the iPad was more famous than me. Well, guess what? Vegas will always be more famous than you. And if you can drop Vegas or Japan or Boston or if you're in an area where it doesn't make sense that you're also in those areas, I mean, everyone going to Vegas as a business writes it off or should. But being able to say, you know what, that's so funny. I was talking to somebody in Vegas last week about that. Oh, you're in Vegas last week? You're partying? No. I was getting continuing educational credits. Because if they're professionals in most industries, that's a mandate. That's a standard. That's an accepted term.
Sure.
Lawyers, doctors, nurses, teachers. I mean, a lot of professions require that you get educational units every year to maintain a license. We may not have a license, but it's certainly in our best interest to mention Vegas, Atlantic City, Chicago, Milwaukee, Boston, wherever that's involved in the process. And I think it's a little deeper dive, but I think, after hearing you say it as, oh, I do this, this, and this as a DJ, I kind of like that because I've always led with I'm a DJ, expecting them to understand what that really means.
They don't.
Yeah, they really don't. They either go, oh, that's cool. Like my kid's doing that in high school. Well, your kid in high school has nothing to do with me. I
got a topic I want to spend 15 minutes on.
All right.
John's here, kind of. He'll be here in a minute. I see he's listening.
We said Boston enough times. Early.
You can come in, John. We were waiting for you to do the record roundup. We didn't do it without you. But I did have a topic I wanted to cover before we...
Hey.
And you, I'm not even quite sure how to lead with this. I knew, but then I lost it. And the reason I lost it is because I'm really tired. I'm really tired, guys. I've been burning the stick at both ends. I've been very busy the last 7 weeks. Every day, 12, 14-hour days. I've been working on a project unrelated to DJing, but I'm just tired. And
you need more sleep.
And I pushed so hard last week. Usually what I'll do is I won't do anything the day before I'm working. Like, that's just me at my age and in my physical condition. I need a rest day to get my head together before I work a job the following day.
Sure.
Well, I didn't take it. because I didn't feel like I could. And not only did I have to work that night, but I had a meeting with the client. Like, and I'm not talking about a wedding client. I'm talking about like a potential sponsor for the channel, which went several hours. And then I had to work. And I know that I was not at my best to do one of those things because I did not get the rest. And I pushed too hard. And I think a lot of us do this. We came into the room last night, and I hope I'm not talking out of school here, but I could tell Jay was having a bad day on forums. I could tell. Jay wasn't having it, as he had just taken as much as he could take, abuse and stuff from just complete strangers, mouthing off, and it was getting to him. Shouldn't have got to him, but it got to him. Me, I was, as Howie said, the insult comic last night. I was punchy. Okay. I do that when I'm tired.
Love it.
I do that when I'm tired. Was it funny? I don't know. But I wouldn't have done it if I'd have been arrested. I wouldn't have done it. And, I know, Matt, you're a pretty young dude. And it's probably fine for you to do a 40-hour-week job and then go DJ on the weekends. I used to do it. It was part of my life. And I was raising kids at the same time. I ain't that dude anymore. A lot of people out there. And I think everybody in this room, we are not that dude anymore.
No.
I just feel like it's really important to recognize that, that we can still do fantastic work. But personally, my work suffers if I'm not rested. Maybe thoughts.
You got to take care of yourself. 100%.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of idiots in the world when it comes to the DJ community.
I can do that too. See how Jay looked at me?
He's segueing again. It's a bridge.
Looking at everything. You look right at me when he said it.
Brian.
Just drinking some clear apple juice and relaxing.
Brian, I think about a way that you very often, if not 100% of the time, end the shows on your YouTube channel with 3 words: practice and enjoy.
Yeah.
And the main one of those, and this topic here, I would say, is practice. And what I would say to that effect is the more we practice, I think not only do we enhance our skills overall, but we also add to what our autopilot can do.
Well,
so even when we're tired, we're wore out, we don't have our, we're for whatever reason not there all the way at a gig or whatever the case may be, we're able to still just have this core skill set that just kicks in. You're
talking about proficiency. And
yes.
Right. And that is, and I don't mean this in a bad way, but it should be a given at this point.
Yeah. Hold on, I have to Google what that means.
Shut up.
Never mind.
Shut up. I would argue that the most important part of that statement is enjoy. And the reason I say that is because, I'll just give you an example. The 7-week project I was doing was on a car with my brother, and it went too long and it got too complicated and it went off the rails. And this place where I've had so much fun in the past, that's been a safe place for everybody, my kids and my friends and my mother. It doesn't feel like that anymore because it got to the point where we weren't enjoying it anymore. The joy was gone. It was work. It was stress, and it wasn't fun anymore. So, from my perspective, now 52-year-old crippled me is telling you that proficiency, at my age, at 52, I'm either good or I'm not.
Right.
After you turn 50 years old, I believe that you are who you are. I'm not going to change your mind. You're not going to change my mind. I am who I am. If I want to change, it's up to me. But you got to still enjoy what you do. You have to love it. If you don't love it, it's work. And if it's work, you don't want to do it. And that's going back to what I was trying to I guess, say initially is we can't push ourselves too hard. And sometimes it's time to stop. It's time to stop. Because when we're tired, I don't think we're very good at what we do anymore.
Exactly.
No. I don't know. That's just my take on it. I just wanted to bring it up, and I don't know if this is a show topic or
we take care of our gear. We take care of our music. We spend a lot of time with meetings, and I mean, I don't care how you cut the cake. An average 5-hour wedding, 6-hour wedding, 7-hour wedding, there's probably a good 20 hours that goes into that, including setup, load in, load out, getting the gear ready, getting the music set up on hard drives, getting things copied. There's a lot of back work that goes into it. Nobody just shows up.
Yeah,
Elton John put in his time early in his career, but he still checks his voice. His band still does tuning and every band at every show does what's called a sound check. And we do too. We're no different. We're entertainers. We're artists. We're doing our thing. But I think it's as you age, I've heard, I'm only in my mid-20s. So I'm looking down the road how this is going to work out.
He was 36 last week. Wow.
That's right.
Benjamin Button.
You got to stop and say, I've got to do this for me, but it's also for my clients. And I think that's almost a selling point, because I used to tell clients all the time, because I got this call about 23, 24 years ago. I had a DJ call me, late 90s, early 2000, and say, hey, are you available Saturday? This was a Thursday. I said, no, I got a gig. Why? Dude, I was in Hawaii and I have a wedding on Saturday and I come back tomorrow, but I broke a rib surfing. I'm like, no way. Yeah. And I need somebody to cover because, my rib's killing me. I'm like, oh, no, I can't help. Like 2 weeks later, I get a call on a Saturday. Are you booked today? Yeah, why? Dude, I was out jet skiing this morning with some friends and I twisted my ankle. I fell, I hit it against the jet ski. I messed up my ankle. I'm like, you have a wedding today. When did this happen? Because he's calling me at like noon. His wedding's at 5. He's like, it just happened. Wow. I'm like, and I didn't pull punches. I just said, what the hell were you thinking? You have an event this day.
Right.
And I noticed, even without being kind of thrown in the mix on planning, I always had this attitude. You do one, for me, only me, you do one event a day, you do it well. You don't do anything before. And I would tell clients, hey, for what it's, when I left the company and started my own business back in 2003, it was a selling point. I do one event a day. Yeah. I do nothing before your event. That means I'm not out playing softball with my friends.
Right.
Where I could get a concussion, break a leg. I said, I'm at home. I said, I wake up with my beautiful wife. I hang out with the kids. I have breakfast. I watch the news. I have a little coffee. I load the van. I get ready for your gig. I get all my paperwork printed, make sure my music is set up, and I go do your event. And people respected that. And I think it's also now become, I'm not going to say to my clients, for what it's worth, I get 7.5 hours sleep every night. And Matthew Walker, the sleep expert from Harvard, said the percentage of people getting less than 6 hours of sleep that have a good life, quality life, in a percentage is 0. So they're now proving scientifically that you need 7+ hours of sleep a night. We've all done less.
Yeah.
I'm very proud to say, done 2 24-hour straight DJ sets.
Right.
And it killed me both times. Killed me.
May I interject here?
Yeah, I'm sorry, Howie.
To your point about like, what were you thinking doing this sort of stuff before?
Yeah.
Professional athletes, it's in their contract. If they're signing multi-million dollar, sometimes $100 million contracts, they're not allowed to do skydiving. They're not allowed to have their own planes.
No motorcycles.
No motorcycles, on and on and on.
Oh, yeah.
And there was a major league player that was playing softball and broke his leg. And because of the codicil in the contract, the team did not have to pay him for that season off.
Right.
Here's the crazy part about what's going on here, because I'm listening to this, and I agree 100%. Absolutely. When it comes to doing somebody's event, we have to make sure that we can actually be there, and we need to do everything we can to make sure that we are there for the client. What I'm talking about is for you. I'm not talking about what you can do, what else you can do, how much more skin you can give these people. I'm talking about keeping yourself right, thinking right, feeling right, not for money, not for some wedding client. Who cares? They're going to get divorced in 3 years anyway. I'm talking about you. You are important. You have children.
Right. But look at it the other way, Brian. Look at it from the perspective of, if you're not taking care of yourself, if you're not getting the sleep you need, the rest you need, doing the planning you need, doing the prep you need, guess what? That gig goes away, and now you and the kids are homeless.
Right.
You're not taking care of your kids. So I think it all ties in together with what
it does. It does. I'm just simply trying to punctuate why this is important. It's not for some bride who you're never going to see again. It's for you. It's
100% for you.
And it's for your family.
It's part of the package. If you are a true professional and you take this seriously, guess what? It all goes into it. I ended up saying to clients, I try not to go too hard the night before your event. I said this in meetings because guess what? You don't really want me hungover at your event because I need to care for myself.
Yep. I just tell my clients I don't drink because I can say that and it's not a lie.
Okay, that's a great fork in the road for you and I. But I'm just saying,
it's got that weird little clause there. I don't drink. There's an alcohol in my system from last week. Or whatever. I'm just
part of me getting enough sleep is knowing that while I'm conscious. And and I'll say this to you, Brian, because I do feel a little bad. I know you don't drink at all, and I think that's a smart, wise choice, and it certainly makes you that much more attractive to clients. But I have to say to you, unlike me, when you wake up in the morning, that's the best you're going to feel. So at least I got that going for me. I'm just saying,
that's true. Yeah.
Come 501.
I do this weird thing, just deal with my life. I just deal.
How'd you guys all get in my room? That's the bigger question. I think when you start. Okay, that could mean we're getting towards the end of the show. No, you're 100% correct. We need to stop and say we can't be the artist, performer, entertainer that we need to be if we're not stopping to take care of ourselves.
What's the point of winning the lottery if you never get a chance to enjoy your winning?
100%.
Right.
I heard someone the other day say about enjoying life, and they knew it. They had a friend who was a doctor, very successful, very wealthy. He retired December 10th, did his career, retired, had a house in Maui, house in LA, and on December 12th, less than 48 hours later, was on a ladder putting up Christmas lights and fell and died. Spent his entire career saving, planning, to only find out that less than 48 hours later, it was all gone.
Lights out. No pun intended.
You're right. And you know what, Brian? You and I have had this talk at 2, 3 in the morning, your time, midnight my time, about being exhausted. And I've said to you, you may have said to me, I'm not going to misquote you, but I know I've said to you, man, I'm so effing tired. Let's just stay on the phone. I want to keep conscious. I got to
driving home from my kid.
With an hour and a half drive. And it's like, I'm sure you've done it. I've definitely.
My son-in-law does it all the time. I get calls after midnight, sometimes 3:30 in the morning. Hey, you up? Yeah, sure, I'm up. Let's talk. He needs me to talk to him while he drives home. And it's about arbitrary stuff. It's something that couldn't have waited. But but it's keeping you conscious because Yeah.
Put in a long day, and now you have to drive.
Now,
and
yeah,
you're exhausted. You're not drunk. You're not wasted.
He's
but
25.
You gotta keep asleep.
He's 25. He's putting in some really crazy hours right now. But I don't mean this to sound the wrong way. But if you're going to do that, at 25 is the time you do that.
Mm.
You don't do it. When you're like old, like dare I say us minus Matt. You don't do it.
And me, because I'm only in my mid-20s.
Well, and you, Jay.
Yeah, so.
I apologize.
And you, Jay.
Dory and Jay.
I'm celebrating my 29th birthday 20 times. I'm just saying.
That's okay.
Or actually 30 times now. No,
Wow.
I mean...
You're 90?
Pretty much.
Close.
Yeah, we should be hanging out with Brian's son-in-law instead of Brian.
Well, that's the thing. You can't do what you did, but you've got to be conscious of it all goes into it. Be a professional. Understand this is a real job. And you need to show up at 100%, which means you need to start well before eating well, getting in shape, sleeping.
Right.
Sleeping.
And the reason, I think the main reason I brought it up is, although we don't always practice it, I think we're all aware of it.
Oh, we are. We know.
So this is almost a message to the younger generation out there.
Mm-hmm.
I hate to say it. Matt was talking about proficiency earlier. Yes, you do get better with practice. You do. And you get better the longer you do something. You get more proficient. And it will happen if you want it to happen.
100%.
But there's this other thing too. You also can't push so hard. So it's a trade-off. Matt has the liberty.
They're drinking and smoking all the time. Yeah.
What is my liberty, Brian Usred? I don't know. I didn't.
No, I think it's a great comment. And like I said,
you can push a little harder than we can. You're younger.
Yeah, no, I see what you're saying. Yes.
Yeah.
And you will get the proficiency, and you are getting the proficiency.
But let's be blunt, Brian. We know young guys that can't push hard at all. Like age doesn't always play into it.
True.
I know a local guy. I'm thinking of the guys that I know. There's a local guy that I know, and he doesn't stop. I mean, I don't know how he has time to post on social media, quite frankly, all the stuff that he's doing. And he's a really nice guy, and he's got many people working under him, and he's doing, I'm thinking to myself, this is the time that he needs to do this in his life. He's 30. I know he's 30. He's doing this at the right time.
Right.
Because he's not going to be able to do this in 20 years. I bet you.
Yeah.
And no, hold on a minute. If
Look
he
at John C.
on this trajectory, he's not going to be able to do it in 20 years.
Kid doesn't sleep. Fucking vampire. Come on.
Yeah, and I had 3 gigs today. I had to go do something with the doctors, and then I had to drive in the demolition derby, and then go to another gig because we do the dangerous stuff in the middle between.
But it also shows you can do this over a long period of time. But Brian's correct. You need to understand, be prepared as you age in this industry.
Any industry.
You need to make adjustments. Or any.
I have a good friend. It's actually Andy's brother, and his name is Brian too.
Yeah.
And he did a lot of work on this house when I first bought it. He's a good guy. And Brian, I think, is 5 years younger than me.
Okay.
But I still look at Brian as a kid.
Sure.
He's a contractor. And when he was young, he was out there doing all of this stuff. He was building things and just, carrying around heavy stuff. And he was doing roofing. He was doing siding. Anything he'd do it. And in my mind, I'm thinking to myself, you know what? Someday Brian's going to be the GC. And he's not going to be worrying about all this stuff anymore. He's just going to be a shot caller.
Sure.
He never became the GC. He's still out there carrying the stuff around.
Oh, all right. Well,
that's not how you do it. This.
Mm-hmm.
No,
this is not how you do it. You pay your dues young, and you reap the benefits older.
Right, but we still, as a whole, we still load the same van or SUV or truck or whatever.
Yeah, it would be weird if some guy came up with this concept of a smaller system for people.
Yeah, but I mean, even you, it's a system, but it's a small system by design. You're still doing the same motions I do. You're still taking stuff out, loading the vehicle, going to the event, unloading, setting up, doing the gig, loading out, then going home, loading. I mean, it's still the same. I remember saying to my kids when they were very young. So again, 20 years ago, wow, at the end of the day, you kind of look around you and just say, I moved the speaker 6 times. I went from the garage to the van to the gig to the van to the garage. Like it's almost a badge of honor that we're still doing it at our age.
Yeah.
Knowing that there are guys half our age that are complaining, I've had it. I can't move this stuff. It's like, well,
everybody's different.
I'm by generation, I'm a millennial. And I mean, I'll say that publicly.
Sure.
Or at least Gen X. Now Brian will light up like a fire.
No, you can do whatever you want.
Right now.
At your age, I can't change you. You're going to do what you're going to do.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, if anybody in this room had ever met my brother, you will know that you couldn't, between him and I, you couldn't meet 2 more different people. We're that different. We have the same mom and dad, and we are male. That's all we have in common. Just nothing else.
And you like cars.
Yeah. I mean, he likes them a lot more than I do, but
yeah.
Yeah. So, I don't NASCAR.
His pickup truck's yellow, yours is red, things like that.
But it's we're not all the same.
No.
We don't think the same. We don't perceive life the same. We don't believe the same things. We don't have the same convictions. We don't have the same things that turn us on. But I think what we all kind of have in common, especially at this point of our career, if you will, is that, we're proficient. I think everyone in this room is 100% proficient at what they do. And there's room to improve. But you're not going to do as good as a job as you should do if you don't take care of yourself.
No.
And if you're J school, who's it for? It's for the client. It's really important for the client that you are at your best. And that is absolutely true. And you can't be.
It's most important to my family. It's most important.
Absolutely. You and your family.
And by the way, for those of you that wonder about this conversation, and it seems like a great topic for the show, Brian and I had this same talk 14 years ago when DJs were having strokes and dying that we spoke to a month earlier. And a call comes in. Hey, did you hear so-and-so died? Wait, we saw him last month.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, he had a heart attack, had a stroke, had this. Remember, there was that period where DJs were dropping.
No. Yeah.
And it's like, wait a second. That guy was young. He was only like 48, 46, 49, 58, whatever. This can last as long as you want it to last or as long as it's supposed to last.
Mm-hmm.
But at some point, you got to stop and say, I might be great with reading the room and I might be great with picking the next song, but I'd be even better if I took 5 extra minutes and just made myself a little healthier.
If I wasn't burnt.
If I wasn't exhausted.
Yeah. You're going to do better work when you're rested.
You just are. And like I said,
you're also going to be happier.
It's not a show-off thing, but the first, and I've only done it twice, the 24-hour sets, they started great. Everything was cool. When I got to 8 hours straight, I'm like, oh, this is nothing. You hit a point where your brain just stops functioning and you're like, what is going on?
Yeah.
And it's sometimes I've done little weddings where you feel that way, where you're just like, man, I'm so tired. I can't believe I'm struggling. And I got 2 hours left at this event. Don't do that to yourself.
The other concern that I have, and this is valid, I think everybody, or a lot, I shouldn't say that, there are an awful lot of people out there who, for whatever reason, and I don't know what this reason is,
probably cocaine.
I personally don't understand it, really want to make themselves look good on social media.
Oh, yeah.
And so they're at least projecting a lifestyle of being very busy, very active. They're here, they're there, they're everywhere. They knocked this out, they knocked that out.
They were at EDC, they were in Denver.
Yeah, there were.
Oh, never mind.
Those guys.
You know what that side is, Brian?
I mean, that's
what side that is? I'll be blunt. I'll tell you what that side is, because I'm the first guilty party.
You're not guilty of it.
No,
I don't
a little
see
bit.
you do that,
I
Jay.
put up Big and Rich on Saturday. You know why? I went out of my way to put them up. And you know why? Because you want
to save a horse ride a cowboy?
that too. I want clients down the road to go, oh, he gets us. That's why I've said this before. I'll say it again, off topic or not. And I can point out 1,000 DJs that do this. Please stop posting what you think.
Well, that's another show. And that's a good topic. It's a very good topic, but I want to save it for another show.
Okay.
Yeah, we got 5 minutes.
If you're doing stuff musically, if you're in environments that have music involved and you want to post that to tell people, look, I am all about music, that's great. If I was an insurance salesman, I promise you, I would not be posting. I was talking to Brian Red today from Milwaukee about the new policy. But no, I wouldn't do that. But as a DJ, I think we feel the need, Brian, to be relevant.
Have you guys
heard the new
an excellent tool
song? It's a tool.
It's an excellent tool. You can do things like that, and I don't see a problem with that. I guess what I was talking about is trying to project a lifestyle, working so hard to project this lifestyle that maybe you're not leading. I got to go back to my brother. He was talking
it's eat, sleep, rave, repeat.
My brother was in an alcohol rehab program for a few months, and he was in Miami doing this. And there was somebody he was in this program with, and just reminded me of so many people that I know. And he doesn't even know this. I didn't even comment to him that, that's.
By the way, Howie and John and I all just took a sip.
Okay. No, that's
conversation's making me thirsty.
Matt doesn't have anything to do with
like alcohol rehab.
He was in
I'll drink to that.
Okay, so my brain, I'm sorry, because I'm tired. I'm trying to go back to where I was. Okay, so there was this guy that he was in the program with, young guy, much younger, probably younger than me, from New York, who moved to Miami, I don't know, 10 years ago. And he said, to make a long story short, the things that he was posting on social media for his friends in New York to see and for his family to see about how well he was doing and how successful he was and how much fun he was having here, or it was not the reality of what was happening here.
Right.
He was creating this false reality because of ego.
Yeah.
He was broke. He was living on the streets, yet he had a phone and he had a Facebook account, and he was making it look like that he was having this incredible life. He's living this life, you people in New York, I'm here, I'm there. In the meantime, the guy's got a bicycle and he's got a sleeping bag under a bridge. So, I just think about this stuff. It's so important for people to look important. It's more important to just take care of yourself and do what you can do, and not, be a superhuman about it or try to look like a superhuman about it. Be yourself. Be weird. Be yourself.
Do you remember getting on social media?
Oh, yeah. I remember who talked me into doing it.
Do you remember who invited you to Facebook?
Yeah.
Who?
Brian Dowdle.
Okay. DJ Scotty Boy invited me to Facebook.
Yeah.
And I remember hitting him up because I had his number as a text and saying, hey, what's this Facebook thing you invited me to? Because I'd never heard of it. I think I'd heard of it as a Harvard thing, but I didn't know it was a thing I could get into.
Sure.
Because I was already married and I wasn't going to start dating Harvard girls. So I'm like, what is this? Like, I thought it was a spam or whatever we thought back then. And I remember either an email or a text to him, hey, what's this? And he goes, oh, Facebook is a place, and I will credit Scotty Boy as long as I live with this. And he said in one sentence exactly what you just said. Facebook is where you either bitch or brag. And
MySpace was brag.
Well, but when you think of social media, that's really what it is. I mean, it comes down to
for most people
bragging. For a lot of people,
it is.
And other times I post a picture of a sunset and go, this is gorgeous and I want to share it with you. But at the heart of it all, you want to kind of speak to who you are in the industry you are. When we go to New Jersey, I'll put up 30 freaking pictures of me in New Jersey. Like, I'm a DJ that you may consider hiring for your wedding in Temecula. Look, I'm in New Jersey as a DJ. It's
I don't have
that kind of credential thing. It's that validation thing.
I'm not talking, and marketing your services is one thing, but the DJs who are posting this stuff about how wonderful your life is, those people are not posting these for clients. They're posting them to impress other DJs.
No, 100%. It's just like
it's like the girl who wears the cute outfit. Is she really trying to get guys to hit on her? No, because she gets mad when they do. She's doing it for the other girls.
Do you have that account? What's the name on that account, Brian?
We gotta wrap this show. We didn't get Rucker Roundup this week. We'll get it next week.
We're gonna skip. Okay,
we're gonna have time. We're out of time. And if we keep going, then we don't get our.
I'm gonna blame John on this one because I had 2 albums. Credits. By the way. Okay, fine. Do you have an 8-track, John?
Yeah, I get an 8-track.
Oh, damn it.
Nice. I'll have 8 tracks next week.
I'm excited for next week then.
I'll bring 8 tracks. We'll talk about 8 tracks next week.
There you go.
For 10 minutes. And then we'll talk about something else.
Sounds good.
You guys later. Thanks for